Good evening, everyone. Let's call this meeting to order at 5:37 on June 24th, 2025. Ms. Karen, filling in for our beloved secretary, would you please conduct a roll call so that we can ascertain a quorum? Here, yes.
Here.
Your microphone is really garbled.
Here.
Yeah, it went crazy. But I think we have ascertained a quorum. Very good. And now you are totally gone, Karen. We can't hear a word you're saying. Not a thing. So, well, while you work through that, we will say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Testing.
There you are, I think.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I am looking at the attendees. Currently, we have Mr. Branch, Mr. Padilla, Miss Cassidy, our legal team, Miss Matthews, and the lovely and talented Sonia Carrillo. I don't think we have anybody else, but we will absolutely open it up for public comment regarding any item on the agenda.
And as a reminder, you can put your name in the chat or raise your digital hand.
Correct. Thank you.
Make a public comment.
Correct. All right. I am seeing no takers. We'll give everybody a second. It does take a second. So, but as it stands, I don't see anybody raising a hand. So we will close the public comment section with regards to items on the agenda and move into item number 3 on our agenda, the approval of the current agenda. I move to approve the agenda for the meeting scheduled for this evening, Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Folks, it is a full agenda. We've got not 1, not 2, but 4 closed sessions, but I'm anticipating 2 of them to be relatively quick and pleasant, in my humble opinion. So those should move along quickly, but I will keep this meeting moving along swiftly, but not rushed, so that we're cognizant of everybody's time after a very long day. All right, Miss Karen, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the agenda for the meeting scheduled for this evening, Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, as presented?
Sure. Of course, Mr. Hamilton,
Aye.
Ms. Barrera,
Here, or I.
and
Sorry.
Mr. Molina.
Aye. All right.
Motion passes 3-0.
Yes, ma'am. The agenda is approved. Now we go into the approval of our meeting minutes from our most recent meeting. I move to approve the meeting minutes from the special meeting held on May 27th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Martha. All right. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to give them a quick look. I certainly did. They looked great to me. Solid. I love our minutes. They're so well done. Actually, I used them as an example at the charter school conference for my oh, there's Dottie. Dottie made it. I actually used our agenda and our minutes and our open meetings resolution during my presentation. So that was pretty cool. All right. Well, let's wait for a moment for Dottie to zip in here so she can play. So thank you, Dottie and Karen, for those meeting minutes from our previous special meeting on the 27th. All right. Dottie, are you up and running, or shall I have Karen do the roll call vote for this while you get squared away?
Yes, if you would have her do the roll call vote.
Perfect.
That'd be great. I apologize, I'm late.
No worries. Ms. Karen, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the meeting minutes from the special meeting held on May 27th, 2025?
Absolutely. But we lost Vice Chair Barrera. Well, we still have a quorum, so I'll
We
take
still
him
have a
down the
quorum,
list.
so we're good. It's one of those days.
So approving the minutes, Chair Molina,
Aye.
Member Hamilton,
Aye.
and Secretary McKinney.
Who's on mute? You're on mute, dear. We see you talking, we just can't hear you.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes 3-0, and I'll keep watching for Miss Barrera, but we still have a quorum, so gained one, lost one, but we're okay.
We will persevere. All right. I think it is time to bring Mr. Padilla onto the panel so that we can go over our financial reports and all of the bars. We'll vote on the financial reports and then we'll vote on the bars. So,
There you go.
Well, good
all
evening,
right.
everyone.
Hey, Josh, welcome to the party.
Thank you, thank you. All right, let me share my screen here so we can get into the financial report.
Thank
Bear
you.
with me. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, but can you make it a little bit larger?
Sure.
Magnify it a little bit.
Magnify that a little bit. Is that fine for everyone? Good. Okay. So this is the May check register. Quite a bit of activity here for closing up the school year, trying to fit as much invoices as possible before the end of the fiscal year. So we are hard at work at doing that currently, but we try to fit as much in as possible at the end of May, just to close things up sooner the better. Um, any questions, please holler out, but pretty steady and sufficient for May. The school this magnitude, of course, the bigger expenses, that being benefit related and of course payroll. But open to answer any questions regarding any vendors or amounts that the board may have.
I do have it's not a big dollar amount, but Triple Action Services, what do they provide us? For the bottom of that sheet.
Triple Action Services for $694.
Yeah, that one doesn't look familiar to me. I mean, I'm not saying it's a incorrect charge. I'm just curious.
Sure, sure. Okay, so they've actually have been charged to the school in March and November and October of this year.
That's why I don't
But this
recall it.
particular just a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's for it's plumbing services and repair,
Plumbing. Thank you. That
of course.
it's like I think I've seen it before, but it's been a while. Okay, plumbing. That makes
Yeah,
a lot of sense.
only when
Okay.
you need it.
Yep.
That's plumbing for you.
Yeah, and let's keep it that way.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Good, sir.
Thank you very much. Very good. Cruise on down, please.
Yes, sir. And of course, the ACH, mostly benefit related and utility related here, and payroll at the bottom for a grand total of $2,232,180.07.
And that's the double payroll that we always do in June
Yeah.
of each year.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
for anybody curious, that's why that number looks a wee bit larger than normal, because we do the double payroll in June.
Yes, there's a double payroll in June, and that's just to help with the closing of the books,
Right. Yep.
For everyone's sake.
So Josh, will that appear as 3 payrolls at the end of this month? Is that what that looks like? Since the
Oh, yeah, yes, 3, and then there would be 3 at the end of June, my understanding, for
okay.
the total of 4 to close the year.
Yeah, and just for those who are in the audience, the distribution from the state had not come through in time for the traditional double payroll on the 15th of June. And so we had to hold off until that money has shown up, which it has. And that's why it looks like there'll be 3 at the end instead of 2 on each.
Correct. Yes, so the SEG payments are main operational fund. The lifeline of most schools showed up around 8 days later than expected in June, which caused some problems for distribution of a lot of funds.
Yep. and not just for us. I think Las Cruces also got beat up on.
Yes, yes.
All right. Very good. And any questions with regards to that, folks, before Mr. Padilla moves forward?
Nope. Okay, seeing none.
All
Bank reconciliation from May, the school started with roughly $1.2 million in the bank at the beginning of May, with receipts in the amount of roughly 1.5 and distributions, disbursements of $2.2 million roughly. So a bit of negative for the month of around $736,000, but the ending balance for the school was $539,908.59. Expected general ledger and general ledger both match, which indicates clean books, and we did not have to um, move any money around for any particular reason of going over budget authority or moving some funds around in order to submit RFRs. So there's no difference in the GL, and we do not have any journal entries to present to the board this evening.
Awesome. How are we doing on stale payments and checks? I don't remember seeing that unless I missed it. Do we have any old
There,
ones that we need to zing, or how are those squared away?
we'll assess at the end of the fiscal year to make sure,
Okay.
but we do not have any voids or stale checks to present
Awesome.
in the month of May at this point.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right. Any questions for Josh before I throw a motion out there? Very good. Well, then I move to approve the financial reports, including the check register, bank reconciliation, and fund balance report as presented for the month ending May 31st, 2025.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions or discussions, folks? I think we've been prepped for this month for about the last 3 or 4 months, knowing that we were going to have the disbursements that we clearly see. So that's excellent. Very good, very good.
Great.
All right. Well, if there's no further discussion, Dottie, are you ready to conduct the roll call vote? All right.
Yes, sir.
Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the financial reports, including the check register, bank reconciliation, and fund balance report as presented for the month ending May 31st, 2025?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Very good. Thank you so very much. And we go right into what looks like 4 budget adjustment requests. So if we can hear about those, and then I'll make a motion.
Great. Okay. So the first bar, bar 39, is Title I. The school received a final award increase of $30,977. So we moved to increase the bar, and the expenses will go to general supplies and materials for that amount. The next bar, bar 40, is an increase bar as well for SB9 State Match Cash Fund. It's a capital outlay fund, and the amount that was increased was on $127,933.26. This will be broken up with $100,000 going to general supplies and materials, and $27,933.26 going to software. We typically use this account to offset operating expenses in those main expense items to help with operating account at the end of the year. Next, bar 41 is an increase bar for IDEA-B of $314,187, and we are going to expense that to teachers' salaries. And lastly, bar 42, another increase bar of IDEA preschool, which is the amount of $306. and that will go to teacher salaries as well for special programs.
Very good.
Any questions?
Nope,
When you say
standard
preschool,
fare.
you're talking grade level, or you're talking about before slash after school activity, like preschool?
It's talking about, it's just the grant is called a preschool grant. It doesn't have to, it's not exactly set for the preschool program
Gotcha. Okay,
or before school.
gotcha. Thank you.
Excellent.
No problem.
Thank you for that. Well, then, I move to approve the budget adjustment requests ending in 0039-I through 0042-I as presented.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Got it? Thank you so very much. Any further discussion, folks? I think this is my fourth time going through year end, and all of this is pretty standard fare to close up the year. So all of this looks pretty fair and reasonable based on my historical participation. So if there are no further discussion items with regards to this motion, then Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the budget adjustment requests ending in 0039I through 0042I as presented?
Yes, sir. I missed who seconded the,
It was a tie between Aaron and Martha.
okay. Thank you. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Thank you so very much. All right, Josh, let's take a peek at the forecast. I don't think this is an
Right.
action item, but we'll take a look at that. And then the contract with Axiom will be an action item here in a minute.
Okay, great. Okay, so here's the forecast. We made some adjustments. The largest one being the around 300K for the kitchen grant. We weren't too sure at the last forecast presentation if that money was going to be used. The construction was going to be completed by the end of the year, which it has. So we added that revenue and expense items to the forecast. Um, we did have some changes in benefits that were a little bit higher than expected. The compensation was a little bit lower. These things tend to fluctuate through the year as people come and go and the benefits in which they choose. So that's not out of the ordinary. Some professional supplies and supply assets have changed as well. And therefore there was a little decrease in the ending balance from the last time that the forecast was presented. So the school, we believe, will end the year with a ending fund balance of $434,910, roughly around there. Any
And
questions regarding the forecast? Any changes from the last forecast? Questions about the changes from the previous forecast to the current forecast? No? Okay. So here is the cash flow analysis from June. We do know that there's going to be quite a bit of payments coming out of May and June in compensation employee benefits, which was alluded to by the group when we were presenting the check register. But we do anticipate quite a bit of RFRs to be coming in by year end to offset some of the expenses, one of the biggest ones being the kitchen grant, as well as some other big title funds. And here is what the graph of the cash flow looks like. Again, dips down here in May and June due to the large distribution of compensation and benefits. As far as accomplishments, the budget was submitted to PED and accepted. The next 30 days, we're going to be getting some insurance revenue coming into the school, and then try to keep expenses to a bare minimum. Also, the audit has begun. It started a little bit earlier than than we anticipated this year. So they have started pulling samples and doing testing work, as well as doing any payroll and sampling work at the school. The school kind of dodged a bullet when they weren't on site for ABQ. But we're working closely with the auditors to try to give them all the needed sampling that they need by the end of the fiscal year. And here is the fund balance report that you all receive on a monthly basis. We are close to being at complete exhaustion of funds. We are just submitting the final RFRs for June as soon as we close up June to exhaust all title funds, especially before we completely close up and start with FY26. Any questions regarding the forecast fund balance? What's on the horizon?
No, and as a matter of fact, there is an audit meeting Thursday afternoon for committee members. So hopefully everybody who is on the audit committee got that invitation. There's one now and one next month, I believe, as well. So if you can't make the Thursday one, there's one in a couple of 3 weeks. So there you have it. All right. Well, thank you. Any questions for Josh before we move on to the audit contract with Axiom?
Okay, let me pull up another screen.
Alrighty.
Here. Okay, so we spoke with the V Hill group pretty recently, and really the consensus of that meeting was that they preferred us to do the audit in FY25, just the historical background, some context that really we have that they don't, instead of just giving them all the necessary information that they need and then putting the pieces together. So we formulated a contract for you all, basically stating that we would do all FY25 audit work until completion, and that would just fulfill this particular contract with you all. So that amount that we would be charging the school is $23,000, and we would seek for monthly installments of to make up that $23,000, just to help the school with some cash flow, if it has some cash flow issues at the beginning of the month. But we agreed that it's probably in best practice that we do the audit just for historical context reasons, and we have access to the systems that were used this year, in which the VHEAL group doesn't. So open for any questions that you all have regarding the contracts, what work will be done, and yeah, just any other questions that you may have.
Josh, I have a question, and it's more of a nitpicky thing. Could you scroll back up to the top?
All the way.
I'm wondering if you could just change this to like the way up, scroll up a little higher. I'm curious if you could change it to like audit preparation agreement.
Sure, I don't see an issue with that.
Just because like I'm an auditor, and what you're doing isn't an audit. You're helping prepare for the audit.
Okay.
And it's very nuanced kind of language, but
Sure, I will make note, and that's not a problem. If the board does approve the contract, we can send that over with that amendment.
okay.
Josh, I also had one question, because at the top there where you're at the very first paragraph, it says through June 30th. But I think the question is, I mean, later on it's very clear that it's from July through October. I don't know that matters
Yeah.
any. But I think later on it says July through October,
It does.
4 monthly
Yeah.
installments. So I don't know if that matters at all, but I think the ending date is actually October 31st, right? That when we expect everything done.
That's correct. I mean, it could go over October 31st, just depending on how the audit is going, but
Oh,
I
okay.
understand where you're
All right.
coming from.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Cool. I do have a question with regards to item number 4, bullet 2, with regards to if the school hires an Axiom Analytics employee to be a full-time employee. Is that
Mm.
current Axiom employees?
That's current Axiom employees.
Okay. So then hires a current Axiom Analytics employee. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, I'd also like to clarify that. You're asking, is it's reading that if we hire a current full-time employee, in addition to that current full-time employee's salary that we would be paying, we would pay an additional 25,000 to Axiom?
Correct.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's
Yes,
in your current contract too. That's if we
it
tried to
is.
steal Josh and hire them as your school
Right.
business official.
Right.
You would have to
Gotcha.
pay a penalty for poaching him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and
Right, Josh?
that's customary.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty
Pretty
standard these
customary for.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So, okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, very good. If no further questions, I'd like to open up for discussion by moving to approve the audit contract with Axiom Analytics for the 2024-2025 academic and fiscal year.
I can second.
Thank you, sir. All right. Any other questions or further discussion? I think everything else here looks pretty straightforward. So I'm looking at the wrong document. Were those corrections made, Josh, that we brought up with regards to dates and all that?
I can make them just on the side here. I'll have to download the PDF and make them
Okay.
real quick, but
Okay.
I can send it.
And
I can send them.
so
Send that over.
the corrections would
The
be
corrections.
preparation at the very top. Are we going to change that June 30th date to look more like August or maybe even October or November, or should we just leave it at the June 30th? Is that acceptable to everybody?
I would prefer to leave it just because PED doesn't actually issue their
Oh,
financial statements
until
until way
March.
later.
Way later. Way
Just in case
later.
we had a question or something, but
Okay. No, that makes sense. So we'll leave that alone. And then item 4, bullet 2, to put current Axiom employees in there so that we're very clear on what that means. I would love to see that in there as well. All right. Any
Yes.
further discussion for fellow board members? With discussion closed, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the audit contract with Axiom Analytics to include the recommended changes and corrections for the 2024-2025 academic and fiscal year?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Pereira,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Very good. Josh, long time no see. Thank you so much for coming this evening because I know Katie was at a different board meeting. So
Sure.
thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. All right, fellow board members, this is our first of 4 closed sessions. So without further ado, I move that the governing council enter into a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1H7 of the New Mexico Meetings Open Act to discuss threatening or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant as permitted.
I'll second. And it looks like we
Thank-
lost Dottie.
We did lose Dottie. We'll try to get her back. Very good. And Karen, what do we need to do to go into the closed session?
Let me just catch up on notes here. Dottie
Cool.
left at 6:05. We're going in at 6:06. Aaron.
Seconded. Yeah.
I missed the vote, so I assume there was a voice vote. For you in favor?
Oh,
to go
we
into-
haven't voted. I just moved to take us into the
Oh, okay.
closed. And
Dottie
before
is
I,
in the attendees.
oh yeah, she
Thank
is with her hand up.
I will move her back.
We see you, Dottie.
And while we're doing that, I do know you need to vote. You have a motion, and a second on the floor. But to answer your question, Mr. Molina, I have sent an invite to the closed session, and I've to all of you as well as to Ms. Matthews, and I'm trying desperately to add the link in the chat.
Would you
And
send
it's
it
not
to my, would you send it to my phs.org account as well? You probably sent it to my
board
Gmail.
one yet.
Yeah. I'm kind of bouncing between two computers here, so.
No worries. I'd also put the link in the chat of this meeting that you can all see.
Ah,
So
brilliant. Thank you.
let me add your other email to the invite as well, just in case.
Thanks. Yeah,
And
just in case.
my plan is to use the same closed session meeting for each of your closed sessions. So
Brilliant.
not to make it more confusing.
Yep.
And yeah.
Okay. Well then, Miss Dottie / Karen, would you please conduct a roll call vote to, let me get my language back up here, to
Go into closed
enter
session.
into a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1, H7 of the New Mexico Meetings Open Act to discuss threatening or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant as permitted.
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Welcome back, everybody. I move that the governing council adjourn the closed session and re-enter the open session. A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Martha. Thank you all. We will go right into a roll call vote to close that session, and then I do have another motion to make afterwards. Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to adjourn the closed session and re-enter the open session?
Yes,
And
sir.
please note that Dottie, I'm sorry for interrupting. Please note that Mr. Hamilton has joined us too.
Yes, 7:07.
Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Member Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Member Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Outstanding. Thank you so very much. Coming out of the meeting, there is a motion. I move to approve the hiring and use of a third-party investigator as proposed by our legal counsel, Patricia Matthews, to perform the investigation on the Title VII and Title IX complaints made against Explore Academy.
I can second.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Wonderful. Any further discussion there? Once Ms. Matthews firms up that agreement with her proposed investigator, we can communicate that name to the board members so that you know who our investigator is. Any further discussion? With discussion closed, Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the hiring and use of a third-party investigator as proposed by our legal counsel, Ms. Patricia Matthews, to perform the investigation on the Title VII and Title IX complaints made against Explore Academy?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Member Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Secretary Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Okay. Very good. Getting back on our agenda, if I can find it, because I have so many screens open now, I'm not sure where I am. I believe we are on to the head administrator's report. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Jake, you have the floor, sir.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I promise not to take too long. I know there's plenty of business coming up that we need to address. I was able to get a hold of Principal Vargas, who is busy speeding her way through downtown traffic in Houston right now and has apologized profusely for not recalling that she was on the agenda for this evening. I will only say that she was able to join us for the principal's retreat that we had back in May. And she has devoted a lot of time and energy into what's going on at the K-5 already. And so I think she is going to be a standout administrator. We do have a couple of goals going into the K-5 next month. During my administrator report, we are working on objectives and key results for next school year. I would like to present those in July so that they're more relevant to what will be coming up. But she's already been hands-on with some of those things. And one of the things that will be big for our K-5 campus, just to give you some numbers, we ended the semester at our K-5 with 18 returning staff members, 11 new staff members hired in, all teachers. And so we're trying to do a couple of initiatives that will be new for next year again that I will share out in July. But we're looking to really build staff culture and camaraderie amongst our colleagues at the K-5 campus. That was something that was big for them this year. But I am excited to, and she's been great. She's been working alongside the returning leadership at the school. Spent a couple weeks in June when she was off contract to just get her feet into things, get her hands wet, working on the stuff that we've got planned for next school year. So that's going really well. Staffing is complete for K-12 with the exception of the recently hired health assistant at the 6 through 12 who has declined the position to go to something else. So we have to hire that one. The timing, unfortunately, if this had been 2 weeks ago, I could have shouted with hooray that we are done staffing our K-12, but we really got a Herculean effort out of our administrators, out of our campus leadership to get that done, because we were hiring mostly at the K-5. The 6-12 campus, the Galton campus did some hiring, but really the reduction of staff that we anticipated for next school year, that was sort of how we had discussed building. Part of our budget was around a reduction in staff there, helped significantly with those. And most recently, when I was looking at enrollment, at the time, I apologize for not having looked it up this evening, but I rolled into Albuquerque about 14 minutes before this meeting began. And so I didn't have time to pull up the recent numbers, but as of the reporting of this, we were at 425 newly enrolled students. And after our end of year withdrawals, we have a returning enrollment of 1,252. So we had built a budget around 1,510 for next year, but we actually are close to 1,677. I've seen some emails in the last couple of weeks with a few people that have pulled out, but we also have some interest and some growth at the 9th grade that we could start pulling students in to be able to have those. So I'm super happy that the staffing that we have is going to work really well, and that includes having the kind of enrollment numbers at the school that will set us up well for being able to potentially hire in some of those teachers that we held off on hiring. The facilities piece that I wanted to put in there is they have, I reached out to get kind of an update on where we were with the mediation from David Greaves, who is the engineer that was working with our school. And he said that that a lot of those discussions that are happening are still confidential discussions. So there wasn't much that he was able to share at the time. What I do know is that there was a tentative agreement made, but we have not had all parties sign, and details of why or timelines of those things haven't been set. And so although we were sort of anticipating at this point having some insurance money coming into our budget as a result of that mediated session, I do not believe we've received anything. And that may be pending for a little bit until they get all the parties to sign or resolve whatever issues are preventing it from moving forward. The only other thing I'll add onto this is that our Fridays are kind of booming for next year. I mean, one thing that we knew is that parents were going to be looking for options for their kids that didn't cost. And so we've kind of been holding back until we've had a chance to reach out to teachers to see the interest. But RGEC will be working alongside the school to expand what it's doing on Fridays. We had a couple of parents, I think I mentioned, come in and talk about doing intro to health careers and CPR courses, because they are instructors and they're actually department leads and program directors at CNM who would like to bring dual credit on site on Fridays for our students that would qualify for that. And we also have several parent volunteers who are just putting a ton of time and energy into looking at other things. They said, even if we're coordinating, today is Balloon Fiesta Friday. What if we coordinated and said, families, let's take advantage of it, bring your kids, and promoted those kinds of activities that would be available for Fridays. So last week, we put together a calendar of the Fridays that both include the term break days, where we're going to ask students not to be on campus at all so that all of our staff can participate in professional development. the Fridays where we're going to be having class already because there is a Monday holiday that butts into that week. And then the Fridays that are open so that parents can start thinking about volunteer opportunities. And I believe Mr. Branch is still with us, but one thing that came out of those conversations that was actually really cool, and this is something that he has spearheaded, so I'm going to give Mr. Branch and his team the credit for this, is working on what's going to be happening on those Fridays with these parent volunteer groups to offer a variety of things. One thing they focused on, as an example, were workshops in life skills. So basic car maintenance, basic things like sewing and cooking classes, things like we mentioned CPR and emergency response. And the parents are looking to see where they can coordinate volunteer parents to come in who have certain expertise in those fields and advertise them ahead of time. So parents who are interested in sending their kids maybe for a couple of hours to learn how to do things like change the oil change, check the tires, that kind of stuff. They can come to the school. They'll have something available through parent volunteers to participate in. Because what I'm hearing is that parents are not necessarily wanting their kids in continuous programming, but would just like to have some options so their kids aren't just sitting home every Friday. So Mr. Branch and his team are doing a great job at exploring those opportunities with parent groups and working on that. So I really do think that our administrators are they're doing fantastic work, where all of us putting in the time and the hours and the energy into ensuring that whatever we're doing on those Fridays that parents are looking for are solid, and what we are building on our objectives and key results fulfill the promise that we've made to parents that we will be tracking carefully the academic achievement of our students so that we do not see that we are subject to academic slipping like they have in some schools. The only thing I will mention is that Chair Molina and I were able to sit in on a meeting, both with the head of, she's not the head of the PEC. She is the head of the CSD.
She's the interim director for CSD.
For CSD, okay. We were in a meeting with Dr. Russell, and we were also in a meeting with the Secretary of Education and her team as well. And both Karen and Patrick were present for those. And they were sort of coming at it from the angle of, why did you choose the 4-day week over the 5? And is there anything we could do to persuade you otherwise? And I think, I'll let Patrick and Karen give their impressions on it in their time. But I think we did a strong showing for why we made the decision that these things did not come lightly. They didn't come without community input, without input from the board. No, nobody made a sort of single person decision on this. And I think we did a strong defense for how, regardless of what is being said regarding funding, that the way it impacted charter schools was not comparative to how it impacted district schools. And I believe I heard the Secretary of Education say at the end of our meeting, it appears the LESC was not thinking of charter schools when they made those budgeting decisions that impacted schools like ours. And so just hearing someone acknowledge that from their side is almost, whether they do anything about it or not, just acknowledging that maybe there wasn't enough forethought into how this would impact charter schools to say, we're not seeing charter schools do this for no reason. We're seeing that there were decisions made that impacted them, such that some of these decisions about the 4-day week had to move forward to keep charter schools the way they are. We will be appearing in front of the PEC on Friday. I'll be joining virtually, fingers crossed. Karen's estimate of 9:30 in the morning holds true to their agenda. I've seen some of those number 9 on the list agenda items show up not until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So let's hope that the early morning things are a little bit faster than that. But I'll anticipate joining to be a part of that, because we also had that conversation with Dr. Russell about why we feel that what we're requesting in terms of the enrollment cap increase both fits the model of the school and actually, in the grand scheme of things, isn't huge. As we looked at populations of current high schools, as we looked at what feeder schools and areas within districts do, the fact that we're asking for a school size that's just slightly bigger than the number of students who attend, as an example, Cleveland High School in Rio Rancho, which serves 4 grade levels, and we're serving K-12 with only slightly bigger numbers as we're anticipating. I think we have a good case in front of us, and we're going to hope to make that the situation for Friday. I think that is it. Ms. Werner, I will just say this because I happen to have your tentative ear, as I did send you an email. I look forward to something tomorrow because I would like to invite parents, and I'm sure you'll provide some feedback for me in that sense. So thank you all, but I appreciate your time, and sorry that was kind of quick, but I know we got a lot pending.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Colander? All right. Thank you for the update and keep them coming. I'd like to understand more and more how we're going to capitalize on those Fridays. And I think in the next school year, will we be able to see on those objectives and key results month to month measurements, or does more time need to elapse to really see how we're
It
doing?
Some of the key results are more time lapsed because what we're looking for is satisfaction of program. But in a brainstorming session I had with some of the directors, we even talked about, I wouldn't say significant, I would say meaningfully impactful changes to the survey questions we ask parents and students to get a better feel of whether we're hitting what is actually the most essential thing. There's a book I'm reading called Measure What Matters, which is the source of that information. Mr. Molina and I will be nerding out over conversations of objectives and key results at some point. But something that was significant in there is really when we develop objectives as a school, are we measuring the things that matter the most to us? Because I think anybody can pick numbers out of a hat and anybody can create. Um, I certainly did. I will say that for this year, as I was trying to look at things that I thought were meaningful and impactful. But at the end of the day, I think that a lot of what I measured were side quests to what really are the objectives. And I would much rather measure whether we've met the objectives. And so that's something that we're working on. So some of those, yes, are monthly. Others will take a little bit longer.
Okay, great. And when it gets closer to the school year, it'd be nice to see those outlined so that we know what the frequency of those reports are, and then maybe a graph to show if there's any trends concerning or rewarding either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will share the objectives and key results document that I'll be sharing with our principals. I'll share that in next month's board meeting.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm not sure how far in the book you are. I am just about halfway through the book.
That's about where I'm at.
It is making it very clear, not only to the administration, but all the way through, even to the students. I mean, really get those communicated throughout the entire organization. And John Doerr talks about that in the book, is they need to see, they actually need to see the board involved in those objectives and key results, making sure that we've got our eye on it. So this is really a very uh, pervasive way to look at metrics and making sure everybody. And what was cool about the book that I read thus far is if there's one area that's struggling, then it doesn't matter what department or area you're in, you can contribute to fixing that gap. So I think that's rather unique. Um,
And
Especially if we've got
transparency.
the committee involved or the community involved and not just faculty and staff and students. So
Yeah. And as you mentioned, transparency being key, which I think is why
yeah,
I'd like, when I presented to you all, part of the work is to make sure that everyone, not just the board and not just the principals, but everyone knows what we're working on as a school.
correct. Yeah, I would be impressed if a student could tell me if I just, was on campus and said, "Hey, tell me about this key objective," and if they could articulate it, then I know we've done our
There are some
homework well.
Hamilton children that could probably articulate it better than I can. So I will just say that I will almost guarantee there are probably some Barrera children that will be able to articulate it better than I can. So I think we'll be doing just fine in the field of having students that could actually talk about objectives and key results.
And I think that would be outstanding. So very, very excited. Like I said, I'm plowing through the book. And what's funny is he talks about Intel, and I worked at Intel for 6.5 years. So but by then we weren't calling them OKRs. I don't know what the hell we were calling them, but we still did that. It just was called something different because they have to change things up every 5 years or so. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Colander. Anything else for Jake before we move on to the general updates and reminders? Very good. Miss Warner, you have the floor.
And I won't be very long at all because Jake sort of covered the amendment requests. I just wanted a reminder that we're on the PC agenda on Friday. There's a link to the agenda, which has a link to the session if you're joining virtually. And I also included the request we submitted and the analysis provided back by CSD for your reading pleasure. In summary, they have CSD, that is the interim director, Bridget Russell, has recommended um, the additional square footage be approved, but she's suggesting a lower enrollment cap than we're actually requesting. She does think we deserve or should have an increased enrollment cap, but not at the level we're asking for. And her analysis is linked there for you. That is what we will be fighting, if you will, on Friday. So mandatory training requirements. I just wanted to give a big shout out that you have all done your training, and I'm very happy and pleased. And I thank you all, particularly given that I know that Martha and Aaron are going to be sadly leaving us. But
Very sadly.
It's very
thank you
sad.
for thank you for your work on this board, but also thank you for getting that done before you exited. So I really appreciate it. Um, and a proper goodbye is in order for both of you. But just to keep moving, um, I was planning to share mission specific goals. I'm going to ask your grace to actually give more details at the next board meeting. But in summary, I can tell you that you have exceeded the, and I suspect meets or exceeds on the K to 5 as well, but you've exceeded the 6 to 12 grade with over 81% of this of the exams being passed. But we have to do a little bit more breakdown of the data than we had in the past because of the new contract. And so I don't have that quite ready for you tonight, and I apologize, but I will ask that I bring that next time. It's due to the CSD by July 1st. We will definitely get it submitted timely. I just was hoping to share with you before I submitted, but it doesn't need board approval. I just wanted you to know.
Is that
And
81% the state accountability, or is that using our own metrics?
that's our own mission goals. So the mission specific goals that I linked there is the actual pages from the contract, but you may recall that we did a 6 to 12 goal that was how many seminar exams get passed over the course of the year. And then for the K to 5 goal, it was based on a survey to parents. You probably remember that negotiation where they went round and round about um, what we should be using
Correct.
and break it down by grade level. I think for 6 to 12, we have to do it by course level because we don't really have strict grade levels. But we're going to work to get that data presented the way they want. But regardless of how we present the data, by course level will be interesting data to review, particularly for Jake and his team, in terms of where our kids passing in any particular course level or subject area. I mean, that would be interesting to see. But up till now, we've done it just overall for all the 30,000 exams that get taken in a year. And that is how the goal is ultimately measured on your performance framework for the mission goal. So you did exceed it regardless, but I do have to break down the data for the PEC before I submit it. And the way I was given the data is just sort of everything. So I need to sort it out a little bit more. And I didn't get the survey data yet, so I need that too. So, but those are the mission specific goals that are part of your academic performance framework. And they don't have anything to do with the state accountability system. It's just for the PEC. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm done. Thank you. Unless you have questions for me.
I hear no questions, so thank you very much. We move on to section 8 of our agenda, which is governing council business, starting with Ms. Sonia Carrillo, that we can promote into the panel, please.
I just asked to promote her. I don't know why the agenda starts with the letter B, but we're on B.
Oh, we are on B.
I'm going to correct that.
All
All
right.
right. Can you hear me?
Hi, Sonia. We
Yes.
Hi.
can.
Okay, good. I have a new computer, so I'm a little bit unsure. So, hi, thank you for having me. I was getting over COVID, so my voice is a little scratchy, and I look a little pale, but I'm on the upswing. So I really am happy to present the new CLR framework, and I just wanted to get your approval before I upload it to the PED. When I was put in charge of the Equity Council, I really wanted to change the CLR framework because I thought that what we had uploaded to the PED really did not represent what was happening at our school. And it's a long document, and you have to meet with the team, and everybody has to agree. And it's K through 12. So there's a lot. And then it was really helpful to have this spreadsheet that Jake made um, for addressing all the questions that the the PED had related to equity. So I put a lot of that information in there, and I was really happy to update some of the things that we're doing this year. We still have things that we're not there yet, but I think the people at the PED there who are in charge of Equity Council, they're very good to work with, and they're super understanding, and they just say whatever you can do, put it in there, and you can always add things. So one of the big things that we did was we got a group of teachers to go to one of their trainings. So a representative from every department went to the Cherokee Holly um, training on teaching students with equity in mind. And so now so those teachers were really enthusiastic. It was a 2-day training, and we were all there as a team. And then they have been trying to find time to share that information in their departments. Having to be able to report that we're using Nucella across the board has been a really great thing to add to the Equity Council. One area of growth that I want to work on this coming year is family engagement, in just really making sure that we provide cultural experiences for families to. We had something the year before this one, a small thing at the end of the year. And I would like to try to have more events that invite more families to participate. It sounds like the Friday thing is a great opportunity for that. So if you have a chance to look it over and you approve it, then I will go ahead and upload it to the PED tomorrow when I go in. Or if you have any questions about it.
I will be the first to admit that I have not given this document a thorough once over. I don't know if anybody else is with me on that, but I have not really delved into this document.
Okay, so would you like me to wait a little bit on that then?
When is it due, Ms.
Well,
Carrillo?
that's a good question. There's actually no due date. They've really, I think because the Equity Council people at the PED get so little response, they don't have due dates anymore. But for me, I
Oh, I
really,
love it. I love it. No
yeah,
due
they
dates?
just they just kind of say do what you can. We did have due dates when I did the things last year, but for me the imperative is to get that old one out of there. And there's another document that I want to work on this year. The one that's in there is just not an accurate representation of what we're doing at our school. So that's why the sooner the better for me to get this updated information to the PED.
Ms. Carrillo, does it need board approval to be submitted?
No,
Or is it?
no, it doesn't.
Okay.
It's just one of the parts about like openness and sharing information is, you get presenting it to the board is one of those things that it enhances the validity, I guess. It makes it look better. Like, oh, you're running this through
Yeah.
your governing council. That's good. So it's just like the same with the wellness plan. It's just another one of those steps that shows that you are that everybody's working together on the framework.
Yeah, I
So
think
I
it's
do have
more
a,
of a,
oh,
oh,
sorry, Karen.
no, my apologies. I just wanted to say, I think it's more of a showing good faith in keeping the board informed about equity and cultural linguistic, more than an approval per se. I think you could even do an accept if you wanted to, but because I think the goal is just to make sure the governing council is informed about culturally and linguistically responsive education and what the school's trying to do in that regard. And I do think the CSD cares about equity very much. The PEC does. And so it is going to be helpful that you could all speak to some of that at a site visit or an interview with them. Um, so anyway, my apologies, Member Hamilton.
So Ms. Carrillo, I have one question on page 2. And I think this is the second to last box and then the middle or second column over to the right. So it's on task 0D.
Yes.
The question I have on the language there, it says our district leader. Is that an actual person or is this a typo and should it say our charter school leader?
Well, for us, the charter school and the district are the same thing. So, well, not the same thing, but our district leader would be Jake, I would say. But um, yeah, so that um,
Yeah, I just
well, I
couldn't
guess
tell whether it was talking about like, like APS, the district versus a school versus
yeah,
a charter school based on the question. I was just curious if it was a typo.
yeah, I could change it to our school leader or our leadership team. I could change it to that also.
Okay.
Charter
All right.
Yeah,
leader,
that's a good suggestion.
but Mr. Hamilton, just so you know that state charter schools are considered their own LEA, so they are their own district. But it
They're
does
their
get
own district.
confusing.
Okay. Yeah.
It does get
That
confusing with
that's
the
what I was
traditional.
asking. That's why I was like, oh wait, is this a
Yeah,
Yeah,
but from a government entity perspective, Explore Academy is
is
a district,
correct.
Okay.
and an LEA, a local education agency, similarly to the APS is
Right.
an LEA.
Which
But we usually do use district/charter, right? To distinguish between traditional districts and charter schools, all of which are public schools.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
your point's a
Perfect.
good one. I think I try to change when I see district, I try to change it to charters. If it says district superintendent, I might put charter school head
head
administrator.
administrator,
Like,
yeah.
it just to be clear. So it's a good point.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll make a note. Okay. District leader. Okay. 10, page 2. All right. Any other questions or comments?
Um,
Oh,
this is one of my things that I got hung up on because like healthcare, education has so many acronyms, and I see several in this document, including EL. So when it's first introduced, can we spell it out so that the layperson knows what, like for instance, on page 1, our school is supported through the Director of Data Systems and Director of Data Analysis, yada, 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 categories including ELs. And I'm not sure everybody on this call knows what an EL is.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting. In the world of English language learners and all they continuously change the designation. It was ELD, it was S1, S2 learner. They change it all the time. So right now, when it used to be ELL, English language learner,
and that's in here
now they're
too.
just using
Yeah,
English learner EL.
right.
Um, so that the acronyms they use change all the time in this field, so I don't know why. But
Which I can appreciate, but the first time it's introduced, it should be spelled out so that we know that an EL and an ELL are sort of the same, but
okay,
not the same. Um, just because there's so many acronyms in these documents, and I want to make sure that a layperson reading it understands what SPED is, right? I know what it is, but my next door neighbor might not. Um,
okay,
so
all right.
I've there's a regular PLC meeting. What is a PLC? Again, it only needs to be spelled out once, and then the rest of the document speaks for itself.
Yeah,
So,
and then I can put it in
um,
parentheses
yeah,
afterwards. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
correct. So
And
that would be great.
we might consider
Okay.
also utilizing the same, like if we're going to choose between ELs or ELL, just use the same one throughout if they're essentially interchangeable.
Yeah,
Because I do
Yeah,
see both referenced.
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess I'll check the PED website and see what they're using it right now and use that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If I'm looking at page, I don't know what page I'm on now. 8. That's a great page. CCSS, TESOL. And I don't know what some of those are. I mean, I'll happily admit ignorance. I don't know what those are. Uh, but as a board member, I'm charged with understanding this document. So I think it's important that again, the first time that acronym is introduced, spell it out, and then the rest of the document, we're good. You can continue using it, and I think a relatively intelligent person can go back to page 1 or whatever page that was introduced to find out what it is. So, anyway, that's just a Patrick thing. So thank you so much, Ms. Carrillo.
Okay. Um, okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Ms. Dottie.
I just want to thank Ms. Carrillo for this hard work.
Oh, totally.
And the
Agreed.
format is great. It's easy to read and understand and go through the flow of all the work that's been going on.
Mhm.
So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the folks who've been coming to the meetings. We've gotten a few students to come regularly to the
Ooh.
meetings,
Mm.
and that's been really great. One of them graduated. Well, Erin Hawk, she was a good, and Melody Freely, she always came to the meeting. So we had some really, and some of the staff members too. They always came to the meetings. I hope to reach out to the elementary school this coming year and get more participation from them so that we can. I think with the help of that spreadsheet that Jay created, I was able to incorporate a lot of things that were true of the elementary school, since we're all rolled into one. So if I don't know if the Rio Rancho school needs any help with this or anything like that, but I'm happy to help out if they are doing this as well. Um, you can feel free to share that my name, and I'm happy to help
I will
because
let
it's a
them
lot.
know, Miss Carrillo. I'll let them know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
They
it
do
took
have,
me a while to get my legs under my feet with
sure.
my feet under my legs with this whole process. But yeah, it's interesting, and we're already on the planning for the training for this coming year, of some of the trainings that are required by the PED. So,
Excellent. Very good.
all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks,
All
Miss
right. And
Carrillo. I'm going to send you back to the audience.
Okay.
all right. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. So that is the CLR framework. And now we have bus transportation contracts, but I don't see a misuse. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Chair Molina, are we going to vote or is that not required?
I, I don't I don't think it's required. So
Okay.
I mean, it's been presented to the board. We've acknowledged it. I don't, if it doesn't require a vote for it to get sent to the PED, then I don't see it
I just
necessary. But thank you. I appreciate that.
I needed to remove the language in the minutes. So.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So Miss Hughes is not
So,
here, but
she is not.
I can quickly go over this a little bit for you
Okay.
if you'd like. But in essence, the bottom line is that, um, as you may recall from last year, there were 20 buses that we need. 17 of them are funded by PED. They don't agree that we need the other three because we go into Rio Rancho, um, and that's not allowed per their regulations. And I think we need to battle that, but that's another story. They did not grant any schools additional buses this year. That doesn't mean we can't get any because we clearly are going to be a growing enrollment and are going to need them. But they are requiring us to prove that we can't fit these kiddos on the buses we have before they'll grant us additional buses. So um, other things that are highlighted in here are that the 17, the contract for the 17 buses is mostly covered by our transportation allocation, but not quite fully. Um, and a new bus is listed on the contract, but we don't actually have that bus in. Well, we have the bus here, but we don't have the title yet. And the way the funding works is that buses have to be replenished, and the title belongs to the school, and you're paying this fee that ultimately you own the bus, kind of thing, and they just keep going through. But anyway, I'm not really that familiar with it. All I do know is that they would not approve additional buses, and in order for you to have buses for next year, we need to approve this contract. It's a PED based contract. Oh, and I don't have the MOU on there. I'm going to add the MOU because it's also related. But the ask is to approve these contracts as offered by PED Transportation so that we can get going with the bus planning. If approved, Lisa will begin doing signups with families and start doing the bus route crazy logistics that happens every year. Um, and hopefully we either don't need more buses or we can prove we do and get more in July. And then there was the MOU. You may recall the MOU from last year. I'm going to pull it up and try to find it real quick. But it's the same as last year, where we took all the statutes that we felt the Herrera Bus Company wasn't doing, such as their emergency evacuations and things, which they have now done. The first one was horrendous, but they got better. So we want to also include, Lisa also wants to have that MOU ready to go with the contracts when she submits them to Herrera and PED. So the ask is for the board to approve these contracts for the next school year so that we have buses. And it's the same number of buses at this point.
What is Herrera's official name?
They changed it. It is now, it used to be something like Herrera Buses and Coaches, but it's now just Herrera School Buses.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, so we do this every year as well. For those who've been around for a couple, 3 years. So the 3 buses, so are we approving both contracts for the 17 and the 3, or just the 3, or just the 17?
All of it.
Okay. So then we are going to vote on the 2 bus contracts and the MOU for Herrera school buses, correct?
Yes. And I'm going to add a link to the MOU, but I can assure you that it hasn't changed. It's just the same
Gosh, I hope
statutes
not.
as before.
Yeah, we hashed that out last year, I remember. Well, then I move to approve the bus contracts and MOU for Herrera school buses as presented to be submitted to the PED.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Miss Dottie. So just for the board, I didn't know this until recently. Those 3 extra buses are coming out of our operating budget because the state doesn't pay for them. So
And I would like to put that on a meeting agenda for discussion. I don't know that there's much action to take except to take it to the PEC. But since this is on this topic, I just want to say that the reason the PED is making that determination is that the law is written for free charter schools, right? So it says you can't take a district bus out of a geographic district. And so they're not letting charter schools go outside of the geographic district either. I would argue that our district is the entire state. And I did argue that, but PED transportation wouldn't go with it. Now, clearly, we're not going to take kids from Gallup, but we should have a radius. That statute or regulation, rather, it's not a statute, it's a regulation with the PED, needs to be, that rule needs to be changed for charter schools. And I think we need to bring that to the commission. But
agree, because we're not allowed to not accept students, correct? So
correct.
if we have somebody in Bernalillo who wants to play, we have to take care of that, right? So if they want us to, I mean, they've got in place a requirement that they're not willing to fund. I'll happily take that to the PEC. And I'm not sure they're
Yes,
aware
and
of it. I would
I've
happily stand
shared
in
it with
front of the
them,
PEC.
but I think we need to ask the PEC to consider whether at a work session first to inform them. I have
Sure.
lots of Lisa and I argued long and hard with the PED last year about this. There are other charter schools that are getting away with it. They just started to realize that our stops were in Rio Rancho, and so they made us demonstrate ridership in that get the buses in Albuquerque. So that's what led to the separate contract. Otherwise, you might have you would have potentially lost a lot of those students because
Sure.
parents would have to drive them in. I would also say that an argument to be made in that, Chair Molina, is around, as you said, not only the fact that we are required to serve whomever from the state gets in our lottery, but also that it's an equity issue. There are no charter schools in Bernalillo. So those kids can't get a bus to any charter school because
Right.
there aren't any available to them. And some go to the Rio Rancho one and some, and so we've tried to do buses right over the border, like on Albuquerque's west side or some, but there's parts of Rio Rancho that are too far away for
Yep.
kiddos to,
Yep.
we'd lose them.
I would
So
happily take this to a work meeting with the PEC with all the data and the stats on that. Happily do that. So, just for right now, and make it part of the public record, are those 3 buses come out of our operating budget, which is already pretty lean. So, but in standard Explorer style, we make it happen. We make it happen. So very good. Any further discussion with regards to the 2 bus contracts and the MOU for Herrera school buses? Well then, Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the bus contracts and MOU for Herrera school buses as presented to be submitted to the PED?
Yes, sir. Chair Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Vice Chair Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
All right. Thank you all so very much. And we'll try to get those other 3 buses paid for somehow, some way. But happy to take that up to Santa Fe. Obviously not this time around, but maybe the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Food services with Katrina Lovelady. I also don't see Miss Lovelady in our attendees, but I would love to get an update on the cafeteria.
I don't have an update on the cafeteria, but I can speak to your agenda item, which is that Genuine Food Services, you did an RFP last year. It's a 3-year, but it's renewable each year. You are not
Each year.
allowed to obligate funds over a year long,
Correct.
even though you did an RFP for 3. So this is the annual renewal. It does include some price adjustments for next year, a little bit higher pricing, but it is covered by your reimbursement that's allocated to the school. We don't actually know what the reimbursement will be for next year, and usually Katrina gets that in mid-July. But even if it didn't go up, you're a few cents, the prices are a few cents lower than you're going to get reimbursed to you. So you're actually making a little bit of money. And if the reimbursement does increase, well, then you're making a few more cents on each meal. So the request is to approve the renewal so Genuine Food Services can continue to provide your food services this next year.
Awesome. So I would like to ask Miss Lovelady if available for our next meeting, or at least in August. She had come to us 2 or 3 meetings ago with some ideas on how that new kitchen can generate some additional funds. And I'd love to know how that's coming along. She floated some ideas about us providing services to other schools in the area, to provide other food items to students that would be paid for outside of their reimbursement. I'd love to know how that is coming along. Very curious. I mean, it was a great pitch that she delivered. I'd love to see how that's coming along, and what the projections are for this first year. Pardon me, having the cafeteria in service. So it'd be fun to see that
And
projection and then compare it.
I can provide a cafeteria update when you'd like me to.
Oh, go for it. This is the time.
Very quickly, AIC has completed their work in the cafeteria, and they completed it to expectation for what the design team put together for them. That distinction is that the design team did not take into account several things. So we are having to get we're going to have to incorporate Sean, who is our HVAC person, to help run some electrical lines, because as an example, there are supposed to be 4 ovens in there. Each requires its own 240 plug. They only installed 2 240 plugs, not 4 of them per requirement. And we are missing one also for the airport fridge that goes out in the front that has the optional student items. They did not install that either. There are some design flaws for the general area. So, things that cover up windows also cross plug. So we have to unplug and replug everything every day. Just some things within the general design of it that now that it's been executed, we look at and say there were things that were missing in that design that we are now going to have to figure out. We're going to try to do that as in-house as we possibly can with our HVAC person, but there may need to be some work. We may need to have an electrician run wiring over. Mr. Branch and I walked through there, and he started pointing out some of his frustrations around the fact that the design did not match what we actually had received in terms of the equipment. So one thing that was floated out there is I know that part of the grant money had included the purchase of 2 vehicles, one of which seems to hardly be touched, and there may be an opportunity to sell that vehicle and use the money to help reimburse some of the costs. It's just an idea that's been thrown out there. Doesn't mean we've made the decision to do so. We have to see what other things will cost us. But starting the 1st, once our facilities team is back on contract, the 1st of July, that is their primary motivator is weeds, paint, and making sure that kitchen is up and ready to go.
Excellent. Thank you for the update. Well, then I move to approve the amendment to renew the fixed price food service management contract for the 2025-2026 school year.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Martha. And thank you, Karen, for the update on the reimbursement versus the quote here. It's nice to be at cost or slightly under. I like the slightly under because we don't know what egg prices are going to be like next year and things like that. So it's nice to have a little bit of wiggle room in the event that the market takes our supplier into a space where we will need to make sure that they stay whole. From a supply manager heart, I always like to make sure that my suppliers are squared away when conditions outside of their control impact their profitability and the ability to provide the product promised. So I always like to have a little bit of wiggle room there. So outstanding. Any other discussion, fellow board members?
Yes. Mr. Colander, who was the designer of the kitchen?
I don't know the group, the architect that did it. I know that there was some initial design put up. There was they sort of walked through with the food services group, Katrina and her team, to sort of talk through what needs to be installed where. I don't have an answer, for instance, as to who said in the plans to install 2 instead of 4. I don't have that. I will just say that I think, as we have found in the past with what we've discovered in languages within contracts of what can be held accountable to what companies and things like that, we're just going to have to be more, we have to think through things like this a little bit better. I need to be more on it. I'll call myself out. I should have been more involved in the conversation, because I think it continues to be an issue where there's a design team that's trusted to put something together that fits the need. Their design is presented to a construction team who does what they're expected to do, which is follow those plans. And then in the aftermath, we find that the design does not meet the need. I wish I had a better answer for you, so I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. I believe me, I understand. It's unfortunate AIC didn't pick up on that, oh, we need 4 instead of 2. But I've been in construction, around construction for more than 35 years, and it's always this way, and you're in good hands with Allstate, just don't ask, kind of a thing. It's very difficult to have contractors or architects pay for their mistakes. So believe me, I understand. I just was curious who did the design, but thank you for that information.
And given now that you know Dottie's connection to construction and facilities contracts and her work with the CES, you should probably loop her in on any other things we're working on.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
spending
That goes back to the conversation we had about this very project several months ago on had we looped Dottie into the conversation, we could have saved 8%. So I think going forward, we need to really leverage the talents that our board members bring to the table outside of just performing our board duties. There's a lot of really great talent on board that we should be capitalizing. So very good. Well then, the motion is out there. Any further discussion? Then, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the amendment to renew the fixed price food service management contract for the 2025-2026 school year?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Jake, would you jot down maybe somewhere in the back of your head, and we can discuss it with the V Hill group too, because that project did go over budget a little bit. Um, I it would be very interesting in our financial report to have a month-to-month look at how that cafeteria addition is generating. How's it performing? Is it par, below par, above par, with regards to how things are going? I'd love to stay on top of that. That'd be great.
No problem.
Thank you, sir. All right. I believe we are now on the legal services agreement, and there will be a vote to talk about the school year 2025-2026 agreement with Miss Patty Matthews. But let's hear number 1 and 2 first, please.
Well, that's just wanted you to know that the notification was sent after your vote to switch legal service providers.
Correct?
I just wanted you to know notification was sent first via email. Well, I think there was an attempt to call first, but sent via email, and then I sent out the formal notification via email and certified. Well, so I should say certified mail. And I know that Mr. McColander has signed a contract because it's under the amount required for board approval for the rest of SY25, but you all did approve. We talked about pricing and all that, and you did approve proceeding with a professional services agreement with Ms. Matthews, but we didn't actually have the agreement yet. So the ask tonight is that you approve the actual services agreement so we can sign it and submit it back to Ms. Matthews.
Very good. Then I move to approve the professional legal services agreement for school year 2025 through 2026 with Patricia Matthews LLC.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you very much. I did get an opportunity to read through it, and it reads exactly as we discussed last meeting, including the different rates between legal services and the real estate services, which are on, I believe, page 2 of that document. So, and that all aligns with what was discussed at the previous meeting when Patty came and presented out to the board. So, everything looks to be in order from my humble perspective, but I'm only one set of eyes. Oh, and to note that there is a cap on this contract at $20,000. Anything above that, I believe, needs to come back to the board for approval, for signature authority. So,
And there should be an overall cap as well of
yeah,
60,000.
I don't remember seeing it because the last line is the total compensation under this agreement shall not exceed $20,000, excluding
Okay.
gross receipts taxes. So that's what I read. But if I missed the
No, you're right.
$60,000
I
number,
just wanted to make sure procurement code doesn't let you go up to 60.
correct.
But it seems like Patty has anticipated it won't be over 20. So that's fine with me.
So there you go. So there you have it, fellow board members. Any further discussion? With discussion closed, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the professional and legal services agreement for school year 2025 through 2026 with Patricia Matthews LLC?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
Thank you all very much. Back to my agenda. I've got so many screens open over here. It's crazy. And then I believe this is just information because we did vote on this at the last meeting with regards to the financial services contracts, correct?
Similarly as the one prior, yes, I provided the notification that was sent out to Axiom Analytics, but you did not have the formal contract from the VHIL group, even though you did already approve that. And you also did not have the AptiFund software agreement. So, and we already talked about number 4, the audit contract support was handled up in the finance section. So 2 and 3 do actually need your approvals, although you did
Okay.
already vote to go with the VHIL group.
Correct. So we need to approve the contract. So, okay.
Yes, please.
Services agreement and, sorry, I'm documenting over here so that I'm squared away. And fund. Okay, I'll see if I've got this right. I move to approve the business management services agreement and AptiFund software usage with the VHIL group for the school year 2025-2026.
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to change that just a little bit. All right. Very good. So again, we've already had this discussion. Now we just have the wet ink signatures to approve for that, but I think we're all aware of the direction we're going with regards to transitioning from Axiom into the VHIL group, and adopting the AptiFund software as well. Any further discussion with regards to that we haven't already discovered or discussed?
This is just an annual contract with the
Correct.
AptiFund. We're gonna redo it every year.
Yes, sir. Even though we
Yes.
may have a quote and an agreement that exceeds that year, state law is it's a year-to-year contract because that's how we're funded, is year to year.
Right.
Yep.
And the
Very good.
software is an annual renewal. Yes.
Yep. So, all right. Great question. Love it. God, I'm gonna miss you guys. Well, then, without further ado, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the business management service agreement and AptiFund software for school year 2025-2026 with the VHIL group, which is what I meant to say the first time.
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Thank you so very much. And then the part-time resolution, which I also believe we need to vote on.
So this one, you may recall, we discussed this last year. It's an annual option for you to offer benefits to employees. Currently, you have to provide benefits options to employees who work half-time or more, basically 20 hours per week or more. But this part-time resolution would allow you to offer full benefits to employees who work 15 hours or more. I recall a very robust conversation on this topic last year,
Mhm.
even considering if it might help with recruitment. I think we landed at declining this opportunity. My recommendation would probably be to continue in the same way to decline this opportunity, but it is it is up to the board. So I stand for questions, but it is that part-time resolution.
I think last year I spoke on behalf of the potential for it to be used as a recruitment tool. I think some of the leads that I was thinking of at the time have not panned out, and so I'd also be in support of what Karen suggested. I think my previous defense of it fell short of being adequate, so I vote against me.
Well, then I move to accept the part-time resolution documentation as presented.
I'm not clear on your motion, but you're going to accept the
The
offer?
resolution for it not
Right.
accept. Yeah.
Yeah, well, to
So how about,
not,
how
I
about
gotta get the wording right here.
I
So
would
don't,
propose move to decline the opportunity,
to
but
decline the part-time resolution documentation as presented? Is that what I'm doing?
well, you don't really, the documentation was just provided for your background. If you wanted to do it, we'd have to fill out the form and submit it. So the
Gotcha. So,
question is, do you want to offer the opportunity do you want to take advantage of the opportunity to offer full benefits to employees who work between 15 and 20 hours per week? I would say you don't, and so you would decline to offer. Or
Wouldn't you move and then we decline in
Yeah.
the vote?
Yeah. Well, no, the motion can be for an approval or a declination. You could do either
yeah,
one.
so
But we're
So-
talking about it then before, we're talking about it before we actually
Yes,
move.
I'm trying to get the language right so I can
Wording
make the
right,
proper
yeah.
motion. So that the discussion is getting the motion language squared away. So it seems a little
you
out of
could move
order.
to move to accept or move to approve the offer or move to decline the offer, then we discuss and vote. But just
Right.
how you word it is gonna just need to be clear about the yes or no's and what they mean.
All right, so let me see if I've got this language correct before I actually move on it. So it's to decline the part-time resolution to offer full benefits to part-time faculty and staff. Does that sound more appropriate?
Yes, but it's the 15 to 20 hours because you already have to do it to part-time staff if you want to be
To-
really particular.
15 to 20 hour.
To the part-time
Okay.
employees who work 15 to 20 hours. Yeah, we don't have any, I don't think, but
That's what we had last year. We didn't have any either. Okay, let me try this one. I move to decline the part-time resolution to offer full benefits to 15 to 20 hour part-time faculty and staff.
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. Now we can have the discussion. Thank you, Martha, for keeping us on track because we were trying to get the language of the motion right so that we didn't vote on something we goofed up. So thank you. Any further discussion?
So we said we continue not to have anyone that would meet that criteria under the 20 hours, is that correct?
Yeah, between 15 and 20 hours, correct.
And when we're not actively recruiting someone that could potentially fall in that hour range.
correct.
Is that correct,
As I
Mr.
understand-
Colander? Yeah,
As I understand
Yes,
it,
that's
correct.
correct.
cool.
So a yes vote to this motion means that you're not offering it for 15 to 20.
Correct. Yep. Very good. Any further discussion, fellow board members? Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to decline the part-time resolution to offer full benefits to 15 to 20 hour part-time faculty and staff?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Thank you all very much. I move the formation of subcommittees from this agenda to the next month's agenda so that we have Heather here and we can actually have a much better discussion with regards to formation of subcommittees.
Second.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, the idea here, folks, is with Martha, this being her very, very last board meeting, and Aaron's last board meeting, I'm hoping is next month's. Thank you very much. That we have Dottie. Dottie, you're not going anywhere, are you, Dottie?
No,
Not
sir.
going anywhere? Okay, I'm not going anywhere either. And I think Heather's still on board. So then we'll have the three of us here and able to discuss the formation of subcommittee. So I'd like to move that to next month. Any further discussion, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, then, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to move our formation of subcommittees agenda item to our next regularly scheduled board meeting in July?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Excellent. All right, we're in the final stretch here. We're going to go into our next closed session. And this is so I'll move that the governing council enter into a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1H8 of the New Mexico Meetings Open Act to discuss the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property by the public body.
And I'm not, this was listed, but I'm not sure if there is a report to be made in this. I'm asking before you go over there.
Okay. Sure.
I don't have anything, so, and I
Yes.
just list it all the time because I'm not sure if there is something to share. So before we go, do we need to go into closed session? Anyone have anything to share at that?
I just have a question. So we just tabled formation of subcommittees, number
Oh,
H.
we skipped over the self-assessment. My apology. Yes, you're correct. So
Oh, sorry.
skip. I jumped right over that. Yeah. So okay. So thank you. So
You
we
could,
we did that. Thank
you
you,
could
Dottie, for
postpone that
keeping
too
us.
if you want to.
Um, did everybody see that document that I sent 2 weeks ago? Did everybody have an opportunity to look at that? I just assembled everybody's data. So if that's the case, then we could probably very quickly take care of that. Um, so I move to approve the governing council self-assessment as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you, Miss Martha. So that's on a different computer, believe it or not. Let me bring it up here. Oh boy, where'd it go? There it is. So we scored ourselves, I thought, pretty fairly overall, everybody. For board preparation, we scored between 3.65 and 4.0. Our lowest one was actively engaged in board meetings, and our highest one was well organized and productive, which I think I agree with. I think we are pretty actively engaged in our board discussions, but one of us thought that maybe we should be a little bit more active. But having gone to other board meetings for charter schools, I think we have a pretty dynamic and active board, in my humble opinion. But that's still pretty good. Anything between a 3 and a 4 is mighty fine. On the fiscal viability, we scored ourselves 3.7 on staying knowledgeable about financial and budget information. We scored a 3.73 on good controls and financial oversights of the school. And I do think we could probably get better. I'm going to hold V Hill group a little bit more accountable to that. I'd like a little bit more granularity there. And then 3.64 on sufficient knowledge and oversight of school operations. And that was interesting. I'm not sure if we need to see Miss Bayardo more frequently at these meetings, because right now we're just getting a quarterly report from our director of operations. But every time she does, we seem to be satisfied. So, and I think maybe some of that might have come from Heather because she's so new on the board. So always room for improvement. But overall, we scored 3.5 or better, which I think is pretty mighty good on a 4-point scale. Performance, innovation, and settings. 3.65 on encourages a focus on educational innovation. I think we really do that pretty well. And with the 4-day week, I think we're going to really see that blossom into the next year. We did 3.65 on the requires and obtains regular feedback on academic performance. We do see that on a quarterly basis. And I think we're going to see it more frequently next year with the objectives and key results that Mr. Colander will be bringing. So I think that might get very close to a 4.0 next year. And then 4.0 on has approved a formal multi-year strategic plan. We have indeed done that, and it may even be amended with the objectives and key results that Jake is working on right now. So stand by for more on that, fellow board members. And then we scored 3.93 both on provide sufficient supervision and receive sufficient communication from our head administrator, executive director. So I agree wholeheartedly, almost a 4.0 on that one. And then the comments, I pretty much took them as face value off of your all's feedback, which includes it's wonderful to observe the unique strengths and dedication of each of the board members bring to our governing council and school. The consistency of our board members allows for a degree of understanding of our responsibilities, the challenges we face, and the needs of our school. I truly believe that each member's distinct strengths contribute significantly to our school's success and ongoing development, and I absolutely echo that. And then several of the ratings lower than 4 reflect my own onboarding and continuing education on matters relating to knowledge, oversight of school operations, as well as financial budget operations. That's Heather. That's her comment there, which is perfect for somebody who's brand new coming into the board. I thought her her observations and feedback were apropos. So overall, I thought we did pretty well, and all of that is not in the public record. So having said that, any further discussion, anything that I may have misstated or didn't state accurately? All right. Then having said that, Ms. Study, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve our our governing council self-assessment as presented?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Pereira,
Right?
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Mr. Molina, would you send a copy of that to me for the record?
Promise. I will do that
Thank you.
all either tonight or tomorrow morning. You'll get all of that in so that we can make it part of the record. Very good. So item I, the second closed session, we will skip over because I do not believe we have anything to discuss for that line item, which moves us right into closed session number 3. So I move that the governing council enter into a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1 H2 of the New Mexico Meetings Open Act to discuss the limited personnel matters. Specifically, it relates to the evaluation and annual contract of our head administrator, Jacob Colander.
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. All right, I think we're going to use the same link that we used a few minutes ago to go back into closed session. Jake, I'm going to ask you to hang out for a little bit, and then I'll text Karen to bring you in. Or how does that work, Karen? Or how do we do that?
Sure. So I think the easiest probably is that we can all go to the link. I will let you all in, except for Jake, and then make you the host, and I'll leave and you can let Jake in when you're ready.
Okay.
There's a waiting room, remember, for that
Oh yeah,
meeting.
that's right. Okay, put him. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right. So now I got to go back and find that link to go back in there. Okay. All right, everybody. We will you're gonna stop the recording and then we'll go back into that.
We got
have a
3. All
quorum.
right,
Yeah.
let's do it.
All
Sorry.
right. So Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to go into closed session?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
All right. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I move that the governing council adjourn the closed session and re-enter the open session.
I can second.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to move the governing council adjourn the closed session and re-enter the open session?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Pereira,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Very good. Thank you so much. I move to approve the school year 2025-2026 head administrator evaluation for Jacob Colander as presented in the closed session.
Was the language on that one correct? Should it be 2024 to 2025?
2024. I was looking at the wrong thing on my screen. 2024 to 2025 evaluation for head administrator Jacob Colander. Thank you. Good catch. And I think Martha seconded. Yep, Martha, yeah. Wonderful.
Kind of glitched out, but
yep. Any further discussion?
No.
I will echo what we all said over there. Outstanding job this year, Jake. You had a whole ton of challenges. Congratulations on making it. And I will be delivering your detailed evaluation later this week or early next week as our schedules allow.
Later tonight, after party.
He's still in his office. He's just bitter. He's just...
Sorry, I had to say that.
Oh my gosh. All right. If no further discussion, Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the evaluation for our head administrator, Jacob Colander for the school year 2024-2025?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Karen Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
All right. Thank you all very much. And then I move to approve our head administrator's contract for school year 2025-2026, which is what I was reading when I said the last one.
I'll second.
Sorry.
That was a tie, another tie. All right. Very good. Very good.
Tie always goes to Martha.
Tie goes
Dottie.
to Martha.
Yeah.
She's the shortest timer here, so it goes to Martha.
Yeah.
Opening up for discussion again, Jacob, thank you so much for your tireless efforts, and thank you for accepting that contract verbally for next year. We just need to finish voting on it to codify it. So any further discussion, board members? Then Ms. Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the head administrator contract for school year 2025-2026 for Jacob Colander?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Enthusiastic aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Hey, you sound like a sailor there.
Yeah, I
All
only have
right.
a vote, sorry.
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You and I will discuss. I'll deliver your detailed evaluation and the contract for you to ink, and then we will continue this incredible journey that we're all on. So thank you so
Thank you all so
very,
much.
very much.
Thank you all.
All right. Without further ado, let us re-enter closed session one more time. I move that the governing council enter into a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Meetings Open Act. I think that's not right. To discuss limited personal matters, specifically as it relates to the evaluation and annual contract of our Director of Operations, Alicia Bayardo.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to enter into a closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Meetings Open Act to discuss limited personal matters. Specifically, it relates to the evaluation and annual contract of the Director of Operations, Miss Alicia Bayardo.
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
All righty. One more time, everybody. I'll see you over there.
Wait.
Without further ado, I move that the governing council adjourn the closed session and re-enter the open session.
I can second.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Ms. Study, would you please conduct a roll call vote for the governing council to adjourn the closed session and re-enter the open session?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
Outstanding. Then moving right along, I move to approve the school year 2024-2025 evaluation for our Director of Operations, Alicia Bayardo, as presented in the closed session.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Oh,
Dottie's got the second on
Tie.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just barely beat me.
Just barely, like that much. Discussion, Alicia, we said in the closed session, but I'd like to say it in the open session. Another outstanding year. You've cloned yourself, to use Dottie's words, you cloned yourself well on developing your team, and you still put in an inordinate amount of time, effort, love, and grace into what you do, and it shows in your work. So thank you so much for your continued dedication. Any other comments from the board before we move to a vote? Having said that, Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the evaluation for the school year 2024-2025 for our Director of Operations, Alicia Bayardo?
yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Martha Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney, aye.
I move to approve the contract for the 2025-2026 school year for our Director of Operations, Alicia Bayardo, as presented.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you, Miss Martha. Any further discussion? Wonderful. Alicia, we're about to vote on your contract for next year. Here we go. Miss Dottie, would you please conduct a roll call vote to approve the contract as presented for the school year 2025-2026 for our Director of Operations, Alicia Bayardo?
Yes, sir. Patrick Molina,
Aye.
Arthur Barrera,
Aye.
Aaron Hamilton,
Aye.
and Dottie McKinney. Aye.
All right. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you so very much. And I will set up some time with you. Stand by for that. You'll see that in the email.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you
So
all. I
thank you,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
You guys have a
Yeah.
good night.
You too. All right, everybody. Time for board comments. And I believe there's at least one.
Yeah, I have a comment. I think it was in 2 board meetings ago, there was a public comment where an allegation was raised that there's either an employee of the school or a vendor of the school had violated FERPA. And I want to propose that we include this on a future agenda and consider whether or not we need to investigate further.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Let's record that in the minutes so that we can include that in a future agenda. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Any other board comments before I chime in? Well, I've got 2. The first one is, this is Martha Barrera's last board meeting. I cannot thank her enough for the incredible amount of energy that she has spent on this board. She superseded me by a year. Martha, best of luck to you and your next endeavors. Your service to this board has been priceless, and we will miss you dearly. Absolutely, absolutely dearly. So thank you so very much. You will be missed.
I will miss you, Martha.
Thank you
very
so much.
My second board comment is, this is Aaron's second to the last board meeting with us. He's going to stick with us one more month into July. And we thank you so much for your year of service and your willingness to participate on our audit committee. So thank you so very much. You've been absolutely a treasure to have on the board, even though it was one short year, although it probably felt longer than a short year.
It was
But thank
2.
you so
I
much.
did
You did
the
too.
term.
You did too, right? You
I
did too.
did.
Okay, that's right. That's right. That's right. I'm sorry. That's right. For some reason, I've got you and Heather goofed in my head. Yes, your second term. So thank you for 2 excellent terms on our board, and look forward to having you on our audit committee. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll be seeing you around, man. So one
Perfect,
more
thank
board
you.
meeting with Aaron, but I just wanted to make that announcement there. So we are in the market for 2 board members. I'm not sure we'll be able to adequately replace Aaron or Martha, but I think we'll do our level best to make sure that the representation is in line and commensurate with both of your contributions. So thank you so very much. Any other board comments before we move into public comment? Very good. I don't see anybody in the attendees panel for public comment, so we'll open it and close it for public comment with regards to any item not on the agenda. And I hereby adjourn this meeting at 9:17 and announce that our next board meeting will be coming around very quickly on July 8th. So thank you all for a big night of almost 4 hours. Thank you so very, very much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you sooner than later.